guys, and welcome to Steelers Fan TV, which is the 5th episode of the Vidcast. Twice a week, obviously, and today we're going to be talking about the possibility of the mainstream media snubbing British ice hockey, and whether it's just a conspiracy or whether it is true. So we'll start off with the BBC. BBC are obviously a massive broadcasting committee. Obviously, I'd like to work there one day. Maybe I could sort of put across like ice hockey is not as bad as it seems. Obviously, I think that the BBC have actually done well, really, with ice hockey. I mean, if you remember 2 years ago, the playoffs, they did broadcast it live, and they have done for the past 2 years. So they don't actually snub it as much as we think. They more or less. I think they sort of do broadcast the games that they think are going to get the most amount of viewers. And obviously online, a lot of people use online and will happily watch it online. So there is that. Whether or not they snubbed us at the British Personality of the Year for Liam Kirk remains to be seen. I personally think, although yes, Liam Kirk did achieve a lot, and I mean a lot, he would have been in with a lot of other youngsters that maybe we've not heard of, and maybe there was also outcry for them as well. So there is that as well. Now, the BBC, obviously, as I've said, are a massive, massive, massive company that obviously broadcast a lot of coverage to England. They obviously have the Football FA Cup on, obviously when the round draws are on, because they want to show, obviously, the British public the football. Obviously that's the main sport within Britain. Being a football fan myself, I can tell you it is good to watch. It's good to watch lower league football against a higher team and obviously cause an upset in the FA Cup. Now, if the BBC was to invest in the IHL and broadcast games directly to like BBC Two, BBC One, I think they would actually get a lot of viewers. Because it is more accessible than free sports. I'll come on to free sports later, but the BBC is obviously a big company and has a lot of viewers. Now, for them amount of viewers to be watching British ice hockey, I think that would be fantastic for ice hockey in Britain, and it would also give a lot of sort of in-depth sort of coverage into how we play and what we're like on the ice. Now, obviously, they do have an opportunity with Great Britain. Now, Great Britain are obviously in the Group A, and they'll be playing Canada, Germany, USA in sort of April time. Now, that's a huge step for this country in terms of how much their ice hockey has developed. Obviously, a few years ago, if you'd have said in 2 years' time you'll be playing the likes of USA, Canada, you just won't believe them. You won't believe it's true. And obviously, because they are now, is incredible. And I think it could be daft if there is no coverage of it. And especially from the BBC, because if the BBC put that on, they would get loads of views. And I'm telling you, loads. Even if they put it online, they'd still get loads of views. And I do think it could be an opportunity missed, especially for a big company like the BBC. Obviously, one day I want to work for the BBC. That's my ultimate goal. And to get there would be great. And I'd also love to work in an ice hockey section of the BBC, and that'd be even better. And obviously, I think there is one, but obviously there's not much in it. But that'd be great one day. Anyway, apart from me, we'll talk about the Sports Personality of the Year. Now, I have briefly mentioned this at the start of the video. So Liam Kirk, obviously, from Maltby, which is half an hour drive from where I am in Hillsborough, up to Maltby, and that's really local, and a local lad from Maltby managing to make it to Arizona, obviously playing for the Peterborough Petes. That's just incredible. I mean, to come all that way from our Sheffield, all the way, it's almost like he started in our Sheffield and ended up in Peterborough, Arizona. It's absolutely incredible, and it's a good journey, and it could show really what you can do if you put a lot of hard work and determination into it. Now, whether it was snubbed or not, I don't think it was, as I've said. Now, to be snubbed, it's like, yeah, we've recognised that you're probably up there, but we're not going to put you in because it's ice hockey. Now, I don't think that's true. I do think there's a lot of sort of competitors out there, sort of around Liam Kirk's age, that will have done things similar to what Liam Kirk has. Not in terms of ice hockey. I mean, you've got in terms of athletics, you've got a load of other sports, rugby, football. You've got to sort of look at that as well. I mean, there are a lot of other sort of athletes out there that could match it. Now, I think it's a massive story personally, but obviously if there's more out there that are bigger than it, and if the BBC see it as being bigger than it, then they're not going to put in the thing that's smaller. And obviously I understand the outcry from British ice hockey fans, because we see it as a massive achievement, and it is a massive achievement, and it has been brushed upon the news a lot. It's been in the Star a lot, Sheffield Star, and I do think that it could have grown, but obviously there hasn't been any sort of news from the BBC yet. Now, what Free Sports have done is they've come in as not really a mainstream channel. They've come in as a smaller channel that obviously launched, I think it was back in March, and obviously they said, you know, we'll cover a lot of the IHL games for the season for you. And obviously everyone was like, oh yeah, that's brilliant, and it has been brilliant. I think the coverage has been fantastic from Free Sports, and obviously the viewing counters have been coming in at like hundreds of thousands, like 100,000 per game. I think the one on air day after Boxing Day between Steelers Panthers, that was on about 110,000. I'm pretty sure that's what sort of number I got like told by someone. So I think that's great if that's true. And I mean, especially for a Wednesday night game as well. I mean, there's one tomorrow night. Tonight. Obviously, I'm filming this the day before. Tonight, there's one on as well, and I think that's great because it sort of gives other hockey fans an opportunity to watch a game and not have to pay for the webcast. Obviously, it's a tenner talk show webcast in the league. That's normally the going rate, and obviously to pay a tenner for it then to just be free, that's sort of a massive jump, and also it's great, isn't it? It gets the coverage out there. Now, you've got to look at other places like, obviously the league did have ties with Sky Sports a long time ago, and the playoffs used to be covered on Sky, and they also used to be covered on Premier Sports quite a lot. Now, we'll talk about Sky first. Sky is a massive company with multi-millions of pounds, maybe even billions, but I don't really know, I don't do numbers. They have a lot of money, and to invest into ice hockey could be a gamble because people could watch it. It obviously used to be on Sky Sports quite a lot. There used to be a lot of games broadcast, and there used to be a lot of interest really from fans across the world, across the UK, watching ice hockey. Likewise, the playoffs again. There was a lot of sort of watchers, a lot of people interested, a lot of people sort of getting into it. Like Premier Sports did well. They cover the CHL, all their games, and that's also great to watch. And the Premier Sports actually used to cover the playoffs as well, until the BBC obviously took it off Premier Sports. And now obviously this year, Free Sports will be taking over the playoffs, to get the coverage out there and to get people interested and to get people wanting to watch hockey. Now, I'm going to go back to the question I asked at the beginning, sort of, has the mainstream media snubbed British ice hockey? Now, a lot of people were commenting, yes. Some people were commenting, well, not really. Well, I think it's a mixture of both, really. I think you could sort of look at it as a for against you situation, like I do in most videos. For it sort of snubbing British ice hockey would be that it sort of doesn't really recognise the achievements. It doesn't broadcast a lot of games. It doesn't really take into account sort of the fans, people that watch British ice hockey. It doesn't really take into account much. And obviously football's the main sport that it gets put out on the mainstream media. Against it being actually, obviously this is more a controversial thing, but against the mainstream media snubbing it would be that there are other sports out there, such as, like, let's think of a sport that doesn't get a lot of attention, such as like netball or something like that. Obviously it's not as big as ice hockey, and I think if there's a sport like netball as well, I mean, you saw it with the women, it's Phil Neville's sister, isn't it? I'm sure it is. Won it at the Olympics or Commonwealth Games, something like that. And that was like the moment of the year or something, like the best British moment of the year, when someone scored that shot. Now, obviously, there was a lot of controversies regarding that. Like, obviously, England went to the World Cup. Kieran Trippier scored a free kick. My life peaked at that moment. I don't know if that happened to anyone else, but that's another thing that could also say it got snubbed for that award. Obviously, netball compared with football is like a pea compared with a basketball. It's just incredible. And there is that as well. It does snub other sports than ice hockey. Now, whether Liam Kirk got snubbed or not, I'm going to say no. I don't think he did get snubbed. I just don't think he got into the top sort of 20 athletes. So obviously there's 20 before him. Liam Kirk might have been 21st, you know. I interviewed Liam Kirk and he seemed very humble about it all. Back in sort of February time last year. And that's what I think what they sort of look at, sort of whether or not they portrayed it as like a massive thing. And obviously the NHL draft only came late in the year. Late in the off season. And when he got drafted, it was such a great moment for British ice hockey. And I think we can all agree that even like if you're a rival fan, you were sort of rooting for Liam Kirk on that day. And when he got drafted by the Arizona Coyotes, it was just a great moment for everyone. Now, I am going to leave it there in this video, and I really do want to hear what your reaction is to it, really. Whether or not you agree with anything that I've said, please bring it across in the comments. You can direct message me on Twitter. Now, obviously, this is quite a controversial topic, but I'll also leave a link in the description to the article that was written by Pete Watson quite a while ago on it. I hope you have enjoyed, guys, and I'll see you on Sunday.